JD Vance just gave a speech here at the Munich Security Conference, and it was wild. It was almost like some kind of a declaration of political and cultural war on Europe.
In Washington, there is a new sheriff in town, and under Donald Trump's leadership, we may disagree with your views, but we will fight to defend your right to offer it in the public square, agree or disagree.
And everyone here who comes into this lounge that's just a little bit away from the main stage, well, everyone's been talking about it. Okay, so here's what happened. Everyone expected JD Vance to come and talk here about the Trump administration's attempts to end the war in Ukraine. And Europe is kind of worried about this. Is Donald Trump going to do some stitch-up deal with Vladimir Putin that hurts Ukraine and leaves Europe weaker? But as it turned out, he barely even mentioned the war, and instead he went into this full-throated attack on European democracy.
The threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values, values shared with the United States of America. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
I mean, this was super unusual. You just don't get US vice presidents kind of wading into political debates in other countries. That's just not the way it usually goes. And especially because in just over a week from now, here in Germany, there's going to be an election. And the far-right AfD, which has been endorsed explicitly by Elon Musk, well, they're running second in the polls. JD Vance said that migration is the big problem that Europe needs to solve, and kind of said that Europe's internal problems over things like that make the war in Ukraine almost pale in comparison.
I believe there is nothing more urgent than mass migration.
What was really striking was that immediately after JD Vance's speech, which kind of left the audience pretty stunned, then you had Wang Yi, the Chinese foreign minister, taking to the stage and delivering a speech where he kind of made it sound like, I'm the grown-up in the room, China's the country that you can depend on, and making people afterwards wonder, my goodness, what's up with the transatlantic relationship? Do Europe and the US really have so much in common anymore? And it's funny because 20 years ago, a writer came out with this book called America is from Mars, Europe is from Venus, about the gulf in the transatlantic relationship back then. Well, right now it feels way more than that. It feels like America's the sun and Europe is something like Pluto, like very, very, very tiny, very, very, very cold, and very, very far away.
Sounds like they just want our money, doesn't it? This is the Paint the Town Red podcast where we summarize the news. My name is Chance, and it is Wednesday. So just after that post, a few days later, Trump went online to Twitter and posted this. Think of it, a modestly successful comedian, Vladimir Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go to war. Could have been won. That never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't Sleepy Joe demand equalization? In that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us. We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent to him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he did good was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And so it continues. So, wow, calling Zelensky a dictator. Wow. That's pretty serious, Glad. We got to fix the West. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has been reportedly photographed this month sharing a stage with a Chinese Communist Party official who has publicly denied China's alleged genocide against the Uyghur population. So, we're trying to fix this side, our side's trying to fix the West, and his side's taking pictures with the CCP. Pope Francis dumped the cross to appease Muslims during his recent concluded apostolic visit to Malta over the weekend. Yep, do away with tradition, right? We don't want to make the Muslims mad. Colorado is poised to see a major change to its gun laws after the Senate passed a bill that would effectively ban AR-15s, AK-47s, shotguns, and pistols that hold more than 15 rounds. That's interesting. It comes at a funny time during in Arizona, they're trying to pass a bill that would allow state and authorities to shoot down drones used by cartels due to Trump's recent crackdown on the southern border. In response, the drug cartels are taking to the skies with drones. So Colorado's banning shotguns, and Arizona's passing bills so you can use shotguns to shoot them out of the sky. Wow. Another professional athlete has been robbed. This marks the 6th incident in the last few months. 7 immigrants from Chile have been charged in connection with the nationwide spree of burglaries that victimized high-profile athletes including Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Federal officials said Tuesday a federal criminal complaint unsealed that since October 2024, the migrants have been targeting athletes from the NFL and the NBA, breaking into their homes while the players are away competing in games. So, I guess their games and stuff are, well known. So you got to know when the games are so they know when they're not going to be home and they target them. Pretty smart. Financial news, GameStop had a huge run. So if you saw that coming, good for you. Alcohol stock goes dry. That's a good sign. Hopefully people are getting more aware of their health and not just switching to marijuana, which is what I suspect. The Bakersfield local news, the Bakersfield Police Department is asking for the community's help in finding a missing 14-year-old girl. Police say Natalie Vega was last seen on February 18, 2025 at 8 a.m. at East Bakersfield High School in the 2200 block of Quincy Street. Forever 21 is closing in the Valley Plaza. Isn't that a surprise? I used to love going to the Valley Plaza when I was young with my family, eating at, Red Robin and going to the movies. Now it's just riddled with gangs and drugs. It's a rat's nest. Soon the whole Valley Plaza will be closed, much like the East Hills Valley Plaza, or whatever that's called, East Hills Mall. Sad. Police seek help to find a man accused of robbing a Little Caesars on South Avenue. Okay. Cesar Hernandez, a man accused of murder, managed to escape the CDCR officers as he arrived at the Delano courthouse in December 2024. Law enforcement from the surrounding areas went on a multiple-day manhunt for him, but that search turned up nothing. Cesar is still on the run. A bit of history. On this day in 1847, the rescuers arrived at the Donner Party's camp. The Donner Party was a band of immigrants that set their destination to California. This journey came at a cost of death due to miscalculations and people attempting to profit from the decisions of what path the Donner Pass should take. The Donner Party is most known for having been one of the originals to make the journey west. During this hard trek, they resorted to cannibalism in order to survive. This story symbolizes the will of the American people and their hunger for conquest. Do we still have this fortitude, or have we gotten too comfortable? Recently, Elon Musk has made it a mission to take humanity to Mars. Do you think America will be the one joining him on this conquest? Well, Elon plans to put people on Mars by 2030. Will they be carrying the American flag, maybe the Russian flag, maybe even the Chinese flag? One thing is for sure, if we can continue to act like the rest of the West and continue to let our traditional values erode, our conquest will be a dry well, much like the Valley Plaza is today. Thank you. I hope you guys have a wonderful Wednesday. This is the Paint the Town Red podcast.